a criminogenic, to use the phrase, culture. You have interest rates that are artificially low to transfer money from the vast globe to the pockets of the few. The few totally dominate the media. There's no media diversity. RT, our show, we try to bring you, some of these issues, some of these bank frauds, some of the criminality. HSBC, they don't say anymore the alleged crimes of HSBC. They say the crimes of HSBC. These are not conspiracy theories anymore. They're conspiracies. These banks are involved in financing terrorism. RBS was financing Hamas. I don't know what your political affiliation is, but the number 10 Downing Street considers them to be a dangerous group. RBS finances them. HSBC was caught financing Hezbollah. Again, I don't know what your political persuasion is, but according to number 10 Downing Street, they don't like Hezbollah. They say bad things about Hezbollah. But HSBC finances them. They don't die. They paid a fine. It's like, yeah, man, they're pretty good customers, They came in, I gave them a big loan. And there's a lot of opium in Afghanistan, And we're boosting our GDP by including heroin use. And we own all the opium now in Afghanistan, thanks to our allies there in America. That's how we're building our economy. Terrorism and drugs. And I don't think it's fair for everybody else, to tell you the truth. Because, in other words, if you're not a criminal, you have a disadvantage. Which is not a great way to build an economy. And I think it's quite troubling. Another major trend that I will get into, and by the way, I will let you know at this point that at the end of my presentation, the lovely and talented Stacy Herbert will be up on this very stage to give away free shit. That's coming up in the very near future. Just another interesting trend, if you will. It has to do with robots. So I don't know if anyone's been following what's going on in the robot world, but the latest stock market craze is that stock trading robots that are reacting to stories written by other robots. So Forbes uses what they call the narrative science software to create a rich narrative content from data collected by robots and to customize stories to fit voice, style, and tone. These stories in turn inform automatic algorithmic trading bots to buy and sell stocks. 86% of all trading now is done by robots. Algorithms that can read stories that are written by robots, responding to prices generated by robots that are a reaction to stories written by robots themselves. This is obviously a troubling trend in that if people believe that the robots are taking over, clearly they're going to be highly capitalized because they're writing algorithms that say that let's all go up and buy stock in high technology companies, says the robot. And then the robots on the floor of the exchange read what the robot wrote and said, oh, technology side, we're going to go down to the floor and buy another $500 million worth of technology stocks. Then the robot writes, technology stocks are hot. And it's this huge loop that's now capitalizing the worst elements of our society. The NSA is actually now, you can hire the NSA to spy if you're a private corporation, and they go in and they use all the data that they collect to feed algorithms to buy and sell stocks based on the psychometric data that is patterned after the psychopaths that they hired to begin with. So again, unless you're a psychopath, you're shit out of luck. Robots and psychopaths. Of course, at this point, people start thinking, wow, this sounds really horrible. Are there any solutions? And unfortunately, those cards are blank. I have absolutely no solutions. I have no hope for the solutions. There's nothing good to come out of this. So it's called rage. It's just rage, but no kisses. Rage, no kisses. I think I already slammed the BBC pretty hard. I can always slam them some more if you like. I'm declaring war on Ofcom, that's right. I'm here in Brighton, on this date in history, Max Kaiser declares war on Ofcom. Okay? They're at the root of it. They're worse than the banks because they discourage any kind of proper discussion about all this. So, that's right, get it on the Financial Times. I'm declaring war on Ofcom. Fuck Ofcom! Fuck them! They have an anti-truth bias. Just to give you some more examples. How about Kathy Newman on Channel 4? And that story she did, where she said she was thrown out of the mosque. But that was complete bullshit. Did anyone give her a slap on the wrist? Did Ofcom say she had an anti-Muslim bias or anything like that? No. She's there, back of the Jon Snow. Hi, John! It's all good! Let's go to the weather! Let me tell you about the weather in this country. Let's talk about propaganda. Let's talk about, now this is probably the worst crime of propaganda the BBC commits on a daily basis, because every single night it's the exact same thing. They always say tomorrow will be sunny with a chance of rain. That is utter bollocks. It's going to be rain and more rain. There's never any sun, and that's propaganda. You know, all the media sucks. Like NBC, the guy Brian Williams had to resign because he lies. Bill O'Reilly at Fox News resigned. I'll leave you with this final bit before I bring on Stacy, which is, of course, the only thing we really care about. Talking about media and my war on Ofcom. I want to relate to you something. You probably are aware of what this particular sequence of events, but the vomit bags are available if you need them. So, on January 13th, Fox News came out. This woman named Judge Jeanine Pirro. She came out and said, quote, she opened her report like this. She said, "We need to kill them. Muslim terrorists." She didn't want to say, "We need to kill them. We need to kill them. We need to kill the radical Muslim terrorists, hell-bent on killing us. You're in danger. I'm in danger. We're at war. And this is not going to stop." Okay. February 11th, a month later. 3 Muslim students shot dead near University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Police investigating Stephen Hicks was investigating for hate-motivated crime. So far, he's something like an ipso facto cause effect. Fox News said if you see a fucking Muslim, kill him. And a month later, 3 are dead, right? 2 days later, CBS television runs a special report on the incident. Quote, "How to safely find a parking spot." After 3 students were murdered by Craig Hicks in an apparent dispute over parking spots, police dismiss idea of murders were motivated by religious hatred. Now, you know, Triumph of the Will was a film made by the Hitler administration to glorify frickin' Nazis. This is American media glorifying mass murder in the open against a group of people they don't like for reasons they're not sure. And where's the fucking BBC on this? Why, you know, it's not right. Because they have an anti-truth bias, the BBC and every media outlet. The Guardian is coming under increasing more pressure for the shit that they try to pass off as journalism. Now, I'll make a promise to you that we're going to continue doing what we do. You know, and fuck the Ofcom from the network. They've got a problem with my show. Come on my show, talk about it. Stop hiding in your ivory tower or wherever you snort coke with George Osborne. Let's talk about it. You know, stop being such a scaredy cat. Stop hiding behind your goddamn fake, you know, regulatory bullshit. Let's talk about the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I'm going to introduce to you the writer, producer, co-presenter, sometimes director when Scott's too high, and my wife.
This is the sort of producer I am. to give away. And they actually have the Start Coin address with some Start Coin on it. But I left the private keys at home. So, so I didn't know they were private keys, actually. The guy who sent it was... Anyway, who wants some t-shirts?
Yeah!
Okay, so I only have one. I have an idea. Who is willing to come up here and do an imitation of Max Kaiser? Come on, you can do it.
Everywhere I go, it's bullshit. All I see is George Osborne, and he's smoking crack. David Cameron is snorting the biggest line off of Tony Blair's asshole. Do I get a t-shirt?
Unless somebody else has come up to do it, you can give away the other ones.
Hey!
Yeah. That's large. Where do you want it?
I've been running.
2 times actually, Marge. This one for you.
Okay, any big guys?
Or a woman who wants to wear this dress.
Anybody want one?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah, sure.
There you go. Extra large.
Okay, extra large. Right, we're going
Yeah.
to centre.
And
Isn't that what they say? I'm like, you know, like football.
another large.
A large, large.
Over here.
There you go.
Wow. What an awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Brighton.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Get that good! Whoa! Whoa!
Hey,
One more.
One more!
black bag. Where's that black bag?
I've got it.
Anyway, I keep my.
You give away some stock coins.
I was going to bring Plucky out. But...
Do some questions.
Where did I put that thing?
I don't know, put it. Plucky's.
There's an extra seat down on the TV debate every month. We're free.
No, that's a rat. That's a rat.
Q&A, Max.
Oh, Q&A?
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, I brought it. There's that little red trim.
Too much crap.
Oh, no. Where did I put that?
Help him out, Stacey.
Let's Q&A. All right, thanks. Here's Plucky. I do a reenactment of the 9/11. Yeah, it's kind of an interpretive dance. The thing about 9/11, okay. All right. Let's get into the real. Let's get into it. So, I've been holding back. I've been holding back. So the thing about 9/11 is that I've done a lot of research, and there's a good body of information to suggest that there were brokers in the second tower who could have left and escaped with their lives, but stayed behind to trade options. Because think about it, you're a stockbroker, and your building next door just got blown up, and the airlines that are carrying those bombs and weapons, the put options that were 10 cents are now $20 and heading to 100. You're thinking to yourself, do I do the money or my life? If I stay, I make $50 million with a $20,000 investment. Or I can run like hell and maybe save my life. And we know that from the money that's left in the account at Alex Brown and Associates, where all of these trades were done. Oh, here's Plucky. Where'd you find Plucky? Oh, he's plucking his back? Okay. All right, Plucky, well, you've made an ill-timed entrance, Plucky. I don't give a fucking God damn it! What? Very extravagant, this. So they found the money in the account from Alex Brown, which is a firm that was doing all these trades. They found $500,000 that was never collected. So we know that somewhere in the bowels and the canyons of Wall Street, there was a broker who decided to trade and go out like a broker. And I'd like to recreate that moment for you right now. I wasn't planning on doing this, but you're such a nice audience. But first I need to get my lighter out. First we need some incendiary device. And we're going to need something to represent the Twin Towers on that fateful day. This will do. Okay. So it's a beautiful day in Manhattan. September 11th, 2001, I think it was. There are the brokers in their office in the Twin Towers, busily working away, making money, exploiting countries all over the world, exercising financial terrorism without a care in the world! Because they're America, and America's always right! Then in the distance, something appears on that beautiful day. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Hey! That's a plane and it looks really, really off track. Dun 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 dun. Oh, no, 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 no. It's heading for New York. Oh my God, something is terrible is about to happen. It's heading for the World Trade Towers. What's going to happen? Oh my God. Oh. Tower 1's gone. Quick, call Brian Williams at NBC.
He was there.
Quick, he was there. Quick, call Stephanie Flanders from Newsnight. Quick, call Paul Mason. He's actually the only journalist in this country. There's something going on in New York. Well, what could it be? Hysteria has broken out. The capitalism's being attacked. America's under attack. Surely there couldn't be any more to this story. Oh my God. With the media's out spotlight on New York, on the remaining tower, there's a broker at Morgan Stanley. Let's call him Joe. He realizes he's looking at his little Quotron there. He's looking out the window. It's like, my buddy just got evaporated. But I'm looking at my screen, and I see the put options on American Airlines are skyrocketing. And I just put all my life savings into these put options. And I'm up $30 million. But wait, there's the story. Their plane is coming. Oh no, not again. What do I do? Do I run and save my life? Look at all that money. Well, we all know what happened to Joe. He thought about it. Should I go or should I stay now? Or should I stay now? Come on, everybody!
No. Should I stay or should I go? He's gone.
Joe's gone. And what happened after that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, at that time led by Alan Greenspan, decided to show those terrorists something. We're going to drop interest rates down to 0 and make it tell everyone to go shopping. Because that's our ideology. Shopping. Debt. More debt. And sure enough, it unleashed the subprime crisis, was engineered with the interest rates crashing to 0 after that particular event. A few years later, you had the subprime crisis, which was a huge meltdown. Banks were revealed to be the insolvent pigs that they are. The response to that was to unleash, in America under TARP, they were trying to print up to $1 trillion worth of fresh money to bail out the banks. That number now is at 17 trillion. Bank of England had a 400 billion pound balance sheet. That's now, I think, close to 4.5 billion pounds. There was no recovery coming. There was that huge crash of 2008, and now the world is being saved apparently by the one last central bank that hasn't decided to enter the race to the bottom in this enormous global Ponzi scheme, the European Central Bank, which is the old Bundesbank, which is the old German bank, which has a death fear of inflation, has a death fear of printing money going back to the Weimar Republic days. They have finally decided to join in to the race to the bottom and print, right now they said they're going to print €1 trillion to keep their insolvent institutions like Deutsche Bank, which has $100 trillion worth of derivatives. They have more derivatives on their books than JP Morgan. They have, JP Morgan has about, by last estimate, $90 trillion in derivatives. The total global derivatives market, and by the way, thanks to my impersonator for bringing up derivatives. That was an outstanding impression. Fantastic, wow. The total derivatives market now has topped a quadrillion, 1,000 trillion, and the total GDP of planet Earth is 60 trillion. So the European Central Bank has said we're going to print another €1 trillion to keep these banks floating a little bit longer, and after that doesn't work, because it's not going to work, we're going to be right back where we were in 2008, which is insolvent bank institutions that should have been allowed to go broke, because that's what capitalism is supposed to be about. If you don't have bankruptcy in capitalism, it's like Catholicism without hell. What's the point of having capitalism if nobody fails? Everyone gets a bailout. That's not capitalism. It's a kleptocracy. It's a kakistocracy. Rule by the least qualified. The word comes from the Latin caca, or poo-poo. Not all Americans are stupid.
So Max,
I want to go.
uh-oh. What should we do?
Oh, God damn it. I knew we were going to get to this bit. What should we do? Let me go back to these stories about suicide for a second. So, I mean, gunshot seems nice. It's flashy. Well, another thing that somebody brought up to me recently is kind of interesting is that, we started off making films for Al Jazeera in English, and then America started bombing Qatar. Then I started making a show for Press TV, which comes out of Tehran, Iran, and John McCain said we need to bomb Iran. Now we're doing shows for RT, and according to Dave Cameron and everybody in the US, I got to bomb Moscow. So I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, where is the problem, them or us? If we go, wherever we go, the bombs follow.
I don't know the truth.
And it all started when I met Stacy. Before that, everything was great. Nobody was trying to kill me. And now suddenly everyone's trying to kill me.
I want Stacy.
All right, so I guess I'll do a few questions, if that's okay. But we can't talk about two things. 9/11, because I just talked about it. And global warming, because I refuse to talk about that. Because it just goes on and on and on. If you don't think we're all burning to hell, frying to death, then where's my cards about suicide? Okay, no, so we'll do a few questions, I guess. Well, I'm here. I'm in Brighton. Why not?
Where's the sugar
All right, who wants to ask a question? Anybody?
Max,
To do a few.
need to go guns and gold we need to buy.
All right, the question about gold?
Yeah, guns and gold.
Does anyone want to hear gold? Is that a good, popular question?
Yeah.
Gold?
Yeah.
Gold. Let me tell you about gold, ladies and gentlemen.
Not the answer.
Let me tell you about gold. Pipe down. The supply and demand. It's an easy enough concept to understand, right? If you create a lot of supply of something, you would think, the price is going to get softer. If there's a huge demand for something, you'd think the price would go up, right? Well, look what's happened in the last 10 years. If you look at gold versus U.S. Treasury bond market. The U.S. Treasury bond market, or the global sovereign bond market, as I just explained to you, has increased by now $200 trillion, let's call it. From, they raised $60 trillion in new debt in the last 5 or 6 years. And what has happened to the price of these bonds? While they've gone ahead and created up to $60 trillion more, which is equal to the entire GDP of planet Earth, in the last 5 or 6 years. What's happened to the price of the bonds? Going up. Going up. The supply increased to the more bonds ever underwritten in the history. Price goes up. Now let's look at gold. Gold in the last 5 or 6 years, there's only 160,000 tons of gold above the surface. And something like 60,000 tons are owned by central banks. 22,000 tons are owned by people in India who are big gold fanatics for historically. Everyone in India has a little gold, every wedding season, a little gold. Then you have jewelry market, etc. But there's only 160,000 tons of gold above the planet. It's been used as a monetary metal for 5,000 years. Nobody, if you walk into anyone's home or any shop or you meet anyone on the street who's trying to sell you something, I guarantee if you say, "Can I give you gold for that?" nobody will ever say no. I think that's a fair statement. Because it's fucking money. It has been for 5,000 years. It's money. Gold is money. So the demand for gold in the last 5 or 6 years has never been higher. So Russia's buying, they bought over 1,000 tons because I tell them to every 2-3 times a week on my show. People say, "Hey, that show RT is propaganda." Like, yeah, you're darn right it's propaganda. I'm propagandizing the Russian government to buy more gold. Because I have a lot of gold.
Yeah,
Makes
but your
sense.
audience is probably on like 0 hours or...
We'll get to that.
Or jobs
We'll get to
for
that.
hours.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So the demand for gold has never been higher. China's buying gold, Russia's buying gold. It's never been higher. So what's happened in the last 4 years to the price of gold? It's gone down. So it totally repudiates every law of economics, of supply and demand. At the same time, we have learned that there's LIBOR fixing, Forex fixing. Forex is the foreign exchange market. $5 trillion a day in foreign exchange has come out that is totally manipulated. LIBOR, the interest rate charged on loans, the base rate for all loans around the world, which is a multi-$100 trillion market, been totally manipulated. Energy markets are manipulated. Now officially it's come out that all the major central banks around the world have been manipulating the price of gold. So you have a situation today where the price of bonds are at these historic, in the case of Britain, the price of bonds are at a 300-year high. They haven't been this high in 300 years. The price of bonds in America have not been at this high since America had the revolution. Maybe this is the wrong audience for this, but 240 years. The bonds in America have never been as high as they are today. Across the world, they're trading at all-time highs. For this very simple reason that you have the folks in the center who are both printing money and buying their own bonds to make rates cheap, to be able to borrow money to go buy Canary Wharf, which was just bought by Qatar. They use borrowed money. When HSBC gets fined $100 billion fine for committing massive fraud, they borrow that money from the central bank at 0% interest. It doesn't cost them a dime. When they pay out when any fines are paid, it costs them nothing. Because they can borrow at 0% interest rate. It gets back to interest rate apartheid. You can't borrow money at 0%. If you could, you'd go buy 20 houses in your neighborhood. That would be the natural thing you would do. But you can't borrow money at 0% because you're not allowed to borrow at 0% because you're being precluded from borrowing at that rate because of this very specific political agenda by this banking-led government to exclude the majority from access to a properly functioning economy. God, I wish I could remember what I just said. It sounded so smart. Stacey will say that on the next show, and she'll take credit for it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I have to deal with. That's what I have to deal with all the time. All right. So to get back to to be fair, the answer, the question was, I don't want to paraphrase. What is the question on the floor, please, madam?
0 hours.
She's gone. She left.
My point was that a lot of people are on 0 hours or job seekers allowance. So what can we do to make a change? What's key? We can't
Revolution is the only way.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of answers to that, and I ask myself that all the time, and I think there's a few answers to that. Number one, it's not true that you can't buy gold. I mean, if you can buy gold in quantities of 5 pounds, a month, it's better than nothing. And you have money, and when the crash comes and your lawyer brother-in-law can't find a bottle of Scrumpies to drink. How am I saying that? I try to remember the name of this beverage. Is it called Scrumpies? What's it called?
Scrumpy Jack.
Oh, Scrumpy Jack. Oh, so you didn't understand what I said Scrumpy. But you understand Scrumpy Jack. Right, okay. Scrumpy Jack.
What about
Well,
Bacahara?
okay, so, but to finish off, number one. So I mean, it's not like completely, you're completely out of the ballpark here. There is like you can kind of like save. Even though the government thinks saving is the enemy, you should just keep yourself perpetually in debt. Go to Primark and buy stuff that's really cheap, but it's made by freaking Bangladeshis, and you're going to save a lot of money. We can't give you a job, but we can help you save 20 cents on that beautiful spangled bracelet. So, and then on top of that, I think, to return to my theme here, I think there would be a huge benefit in having some diversity in the media. I know in Brighton, there's a lot of people who are getting more into media and developing their own alternative media, podcasts, these types of things, because you're not getting any help from the mainstream media. That's my thought. So I think with you come together and you realize, you know what, we're being attacked by very corrupt institutions, including the government. We should stop paying our BBC license fee immediately. Stop paying it. I mean, that's a form of passive resistance. Gandhi had his salt. Martin Luther King had the buses in Montgomery. You all got the BBC license. You can decide not to pay. But people say, well, that's illegal. You can't decide not to pay the BBC license. That's right. As John Locke said in 1790, when the social contract is broken, the people must revolt. The social contract has been broken. The response is not to finagle your way in. It's just like either you change, or we're going to take you around to the Tower of London, and we're going to cut your fucking head off. I mean, in France, where we worked for many years, this is like the average person. This is their fallback position. It's like, well, these guys are corrupt. Yeah, but remember when things go bad, we just cut their fucking heads off. Like, yeah, you're right, buddy. I think you missed my turn. Sure. Anyway. Any other questions?
Max. Greece. Bacahara.
What?
Russia, Ukraine. After a Minsk agreement, all military troops, foreign military troops, supposed to leave Ukraine. Next week. After Americans and 70 British are going back to Ukraine.
Okay, if you didn't understand what the woman just said, I'll clarify. She said, why is America, NATO, and Britain bombing Ukraine? Oh, what? That's not what you said? Oh, I'm sorry. I must have misunderstood.
Why they're going back to Ukraine to train Ukrainians?
Who?
British and Americans.
Oh my God. Here's
like 5 billion to francs.
first of all, I like the tenor of your question, because obviously there's two ways that this subject could be brought up. One is the way you brought it up, which is the way I would most likely be privy to answering. And so you have the push east. Those Victoria Nuland, the assistant deputy director of the State Department, on tape conducting a coup in Ukraine a few months ago. I mean, they have an interest in there. So, why is this interest in there? I mean, I look at things in the banking industry and the finance industry. You've got this, as I just described, over the last bit of time. What do you have here? You have a bit, unmistakably you have a Ponzi scheme. You have banks that are insolvent, and the only way that they can stay up, from declining bankruptcy is the governments to conduct quantitative easing at 0% interest rate to keep refinancing all that really, really bad debt, which keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So if the ECB is now in the Ponzi scheme, and the Fed, the Bank of Tokyo, People's Bank of China, and they're all involved in the same essential policy of keeping alive zombie banks and bad debts, like any Ponzi scheme, you need new money, you need newcomers, you need new participants, or it blows up, like Enron blew up. Enron was worth $80 billion one day, it's worth nothing the next day. So there's only 3 countries in the world with independent central banks: Russia, China, Iran. These are the only three countries that are not totally controlled by Janet Yellen, Mark Carney, and Mario Draghi. So that's the tension as I see it. You have now, this is playing out as a proxy war, but if the US, UK cannot get their mitts on those assets to spin off, collateralize, financialize, because Russia doesn't have much debt really. It's not really like the most robust growth country in the world. It has very little debt. It's just like a lot of natural resources. But they can commodify that and spin that off and create more derivatives to keep this thing going. And that's where the tension is. So they have to go there. They have to go there. Because, to get back to my original point about this whole presentation, people who advise the government are smoking crack. They literally are, they're addicted to debt. They're addicted to debt. They're debt whores. Okay. Now I am genuinely tired, so I'm going to officially say goodbye. I think I found my bag. So once again, thank you. We'll see you again, Brian. Round for the Dead Reds. You've made it all possible.
All right, we've only got a few songs for you just to finish off your Friday night. Thanks very much, Max. We're going to play a few of our new EP. This one's called Money.
We got it going on, yeah. I'll get right.
very quick, I'll be there. Log in. I want to get sponsored by them.
Are you ready? Where's the evidence? Where's the terrorist? Thoughts planted deep in our fearful mind. Trust in politics. No, fuck the politics. We got the power. Now open your eyes. They like to feed at night, prey on the victims with no idea. We shall educate and teach you of your fate. Take down the giants, the future's unclear.